Hey, 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 it's Mr. B. It's beautiful outside. It's beautiful in here. I miss you guys like crazy. And let's do time lesson 13 too. I told Sabrina and Fallon I was going to school to get a clock, so I got a clock. I even got a little toy clock to play with as well because we're learning about clocks and time. So I want to make sure that I have some things I can really show you while we do the clock. So before we start here, let's review what we did yesterday. I'm going to talk about Clinton for a second because Clinton did something amazing yesterday, and he followed along with Mr. B, as you can tell, and he watched my video and got all of his answers right. And I just want to highlight how well he did on number 8, 9, 10, and 11 because he made his small hour hand point to the correct numbers for 6 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. And then he made the minute hand, the bigger hand, point to the correct number for o'clock, which was on the number 12. So Clinton, keep up the good work, man. I'm so proud of you. And let's go back to our paper. So I'm going to pause the video so I can get ready. I want you to pause the video so you can go get your supplies ready. Find 13.2 in your packet, get your supplies, your pencil. You don't have to get a clock because you can use mine today. And we're going to talk about this analog clock, the red thing. And we're going to talk about a digital clock, that blue thing. And both of the clocks show the same time, but something is different about that. So while you gather your things, I'm going to gather my things. And we'll talk about why they are alike and why they are different, or how they're different and how they're alike. I'll see you in about 1 minute. All right, I'm back. Here we go. This is called Baby Come Back. All right, so first let's take a quick second and look at the two clocks. And we're going to talk about how they're alike and how they are different. So who can look at these clocks and tell me something that, they're alike and how they're different? Okay. All right. So they both say the same time. And what time is that? Remember what Clinton did? His small hand was pointing to what? The 9. Good. And the big hand was pointing to the 12, which means o'clock. So we can say it's 9 o'clock. But this one told us the answer. The blue rectangular clock told us the answer. Actually, 9 o'clock is just written really funny. So for something we can say for alike is they both say the same time. So I'm going to write it as big as I can so you can see it. You pause the video and write it nice and neat. Okay? So alike. They both say 9 apostrophe clock. I just noticed I had my tongue out. And whenever me and Sabrina concentrate, we have our tongues out. It's so funny. All right, so pause that, finish it up, and then let's write how they're different. So pause the video and write down they both say 9 o'clock, period. And then resume the video or hit play on the video, and then we'll talk about how they're different. So think about how they're different. Oh, yeah, one is a round clock and one is a square or rectangular clock. That's one way how they're different. Yeah, that one has hands on it over there. It has a small hand and a big hand. That one doesn't. It just has numbers with those two little weird dots, and I'll tell you what that means in just a little bit. It's called a colon. So there's a lot of ways they're different. They're different colors. They're different shapes. They have different things on them. So let's just pick one of those. And let's say one clock has hands. The other does not. And once again, you have to pause the video because I'm writing all big and crazy and not on the lines, so that way you can see it. Now you pause the video and finish writing your sentence, and I'll catch you on the back of this page where we learn a little bit more about the clock on the right, the blue one. All right, come on back.
How about
Dr. Evil, how about yes? So we're going to talk about both of these clocks today. One is called an analog clock. An analog clock is the one with hands, the small hand and the big hands. And the digital clock is the one with just numbers, and they both do the same thing. They tell the time. So the hour hand on the round clocks, the analog clocks, have a small hand to tell the hour, and it's pointing to what number in the number 3? Or in the number 1? Yeah, I kind of gave you the answer. It points to the number 3. So I'm going to draw the small hand to the number 3. And look on the square clock. 3 tells the hour, except there's no hands. 3 in front of those two dots, called a colon, is the hour, and the numbers after is the minutes. So let's go back to our round clock. It says 3 o'clock. The hour hand is pointing to the 3. The minute hand is pointing to the 12. So it must be 3 o'clock, because yesterday we learned that when it points to the 12, it says o'clock. Today, we're going to learn another way to say o'clock is to have 2 zeros. So, and I'll explain that more as we go on. But for now, it says 3 o'clock. And on this clock over here, it says 00, which also means o'clock. So it's kind of tricky and kind of sloppy. Pause it. Make sure you get your stuff nice and neat and organized. And then we'll move on to number 2. Number 2, well, the time down here says 5 o'clock. That's where we're going to start. So let's put the hour hand on the 5. That's a small hand. And then for o'clock, we learned yesterday it's on the 12. So the big hand has to point to the 12. Now here goes the easy part. On the digital clock, you just write 5 o'clock. So let's start with the hour. You write 5 as the hour. And to write o'clock is just 0, 0. That's all we have to do. Bada bing, bada boom. Number 3, what time does that say? All right, good. It says 12 o'clock. So let's make the small hour hand to the 12. And the hour hand on the square clock, or the orange clock, is 12. And if it's o'clock, the big hand has to point to the 12 too. So there goes o'clock. And to write o'clock on that one is 0, 0. Wow, this is really easy stuff if I stop and think about it. 12 o'clock. All right, our next one is number 4, and it says 11 o'clock. So let's start with the hour hand. This time I'm going to write it on the digital clock first. 11 o'clock. So the hour hand is the 11, which means the small hand has to point to the 11. And when it says o'clock, it's 0, 0 on the digital clock, and it points to the 12 on the analog clock. Woohoo, we just did all 4. That's how we do. So I'm going to try recording my face in this video almost the whole time so you can see me working hard and trying my best. And I can't wait to see videos of you doing this or pictures of you doing it so I can see you doing your best. This is a new thing. It's going to be challenging. Let's keep on rolling. See you in number 5. And we're back for number 5. Yeah, I want some Taco Bell. That's the Taco Bell bomb. So, same thing as yesterday. We have to write the hands and the clocks all by ourselves, but today we also have to fill out the digital clocks. Gets a little bit tricky. I don't know what's going on with number 7. My screen's all jacked up, so you know what I'm going to do to number 7? Forget about it. I'm not doing the analog clock because I don't have it, and I'm not about to draw a whole clock. So for number 5, it says 2 o'clock. So how can we go about doing this problem? Right, you put the hour hand on the 2. The small hand goes to the 2. And where should we put that big hand? On the o'clock or the 12, which is 0, 0. And the digital clock's a little bit easier because it tells us the answer. It says 2 o'clock. Our hour is 2, and our minutes are o'clock, which means 0, 0. The time is 2 o'clock. I'm going to do number 6 with you, number 7 with you, and then I want you to try doing number 8, 9, and 10 and do it just like Clinton did, and I will feature you in tomorrow's video. Here we go. Number 6 says 4 o'clock. Let's put the hour hand to the 4, and the big hand goes to, to the 12. Good job. Some people already had that filled out before I even did it. I'm getting a little bit sloppy, and I'm sorry. Just trying my best. 4 o'clock. So on the digital clock, we write 4 is the hour, and o'clock is 0, 0. Number 7, I'm not doing the analog clock. I'm just going to do the digital clock, which is 6 o'clock. So the hour is 6, and the o'clock is 0, 0. I can't wait to see your answers again. Clinton, Journey, Ava, Sabrina, keep up the good work. Abigail, I've seen all your work today, so keep it coming. I love checking it. It makes me feel like I get to check it like in school. All right, you do number 8, 9, and 10. I'll see you on number 11. That was Mickey saying, oh boy. All right, number 11 says, Mary writes a pattern, then she erases some of the times. Write the missing times. I don't know if I see a pattern here. What do you see? I see a 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I don't know what comes next. I'm not so sure. I got an idea. I got a clock that Sabrina told me Sabrina and Fallon told me to get. I'll be right back. I'll get it. Ha! I'm back and I got to my clock. So what we have to do, it's hard to do this because I'm backwards. So I'm just going to try my best. And it says 6 o'clock. So I'm going to make this say 6 o'clock. I'm going to make the hour hand go all the way to the 6. Come on, get there, slowpoke. Hour hand to 6 o'clock. Bada bing. There it goes. The hour hand is on the 6. And the minute hand is on the 12. Now what comes next? Well, it goes 8. So 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. All right, let's see. 6. There goes 7. There goes 8. All right, there goes 8 o'clock. Oh, I think I figured it out. The pattern is, look, they skipped number 7. Let's see if we can do that. So instead of skipping 7 this time, so they went 6, skip a number 8. So now we're going to go 8, skip a number 10. Maybe that's the pattern. Let's find out. We're at 8, 9, 10. I like it. Let's write that down. So we have 10 o'clock. And then after 10 o'clock, they do 10 o'clock, skip a number. They should do 12 o'clock. And guess what? That's what their paper says. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. All right, let's keep going. What's after 12 o'clock? Well, 12, skip a number 2. Let's see if it works. 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I think we did our pattern. Thank you, clock. Yeah, I'm talking to clock. It's a little bit late. 2 o'clock. We did it, guys. Good work. Fallon and Sabrina, thanks for telling me to pick up that clock today. It really helped us. I'll see you on the back of this page, number 12. All right, and we're back again, and we're going to read about a boy named Raul for number 12. Raul starts riding his bike at 1 o'clock. Okay, he rides for 1 hour, and what time does he stop? This one's going to be a tricky. Where is my clock? Oh, let's use this one. So he starts riding his bike at 1 o'clock. So there goes 1 on the hour hand and 12 on the minute hand for 1 o'clock. Now he rides his bike for 1 hour. So he's just going to go to the next number. So 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 minutes is 1 hour. What time is it now? Oh, I just did the answer. That's so simple. What time is it now? That's right. It's pointing to the 2 for 2, and the o'clock is right here. So he stopped riding his bike at 2 o'clock. So let's put our hour hand on the 2 and our minute hand on the 12, just like I did. I know that's not great. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. We have our 2, and the other way to say o'clock on a digital clock is 0, 0 for 2 o'clock. And we're all the way finished. Let me move my face out of the way and slide it over. There we go. Number 13 is our next one. I hope you pause it to finish it. It says vocabulary. Lucy reads for 1 hour. Okay. She stopped reading at 10 o'clock. What time did Lucy start reading? Oh, this is like one of those reverse ones. It's very tricky. Draw the hands on the clock face and write the hour Lucy starts reading. Well, it says she stopped reading at 10 o'clock. There goes 10 o'clock. That's when she stopped reading. When did she start? You can't go backwards in time in real life. So she stopped here and she read for 1 hour. So in order for us to get that answer, we have to go backwards on our clock. So I'm going to take away an hour. I went from 10 o'clock to what time now? 9 o'clock. I guess she started reading at 9 o'clock. So put your small hand on the 9 and your big hand on the 12. Lucy, good job reading for an hour. Miss Metrick and Mr. Nichols will be proud of you just like Mr. B is. I'll see you on number 14 when we get down there. All right, this is number 14 in higher order thinking. Man, we're going to need some superpowers for this one. David goes to bed 2 hours before his mother. David's mother goes to bed at 11 o'clock. What time did David go to bed? We have to write that on the clock. So David's bedtime is 2 hours before his mother's, and David's mother goes to bed at 11. So here's when his mom goes to bed, 11 hour, and o'clock for the minutes, 11 o'clock. And David goes to bed 2 hours before that. So we have to go not ahead in time. We have to go backwards 2 hours. And what number is 2 hours back. That's right, we have to go back 1 hour to 10 and 2 hours to, you got it, 9 o'clock. Let's write that on our clock. 9 o'clock. All right, and our last question is kind of like our quiz question. It's our assessment question. So I'm going to let you answer this one all by yourself, I think. Maribel washes dishes after 6 and before 9. After 6, but before 9. Which clocks show a time Maribel might wash dishes? Choose all that apply. All right, after 6, before 9. Is 12 after 6? Yeah. But is 12 before 9? No, can't be that one. I'm going to eliminate that answer. And what about the 8 o'clock over here? Well, is 8 o'clock after 6 o'clock? Yes. Is 8 o'clock before 9 o'clock? It is. Good job. So I'm going to fill that one in. It's a little bit sloppy. I'll work on it. I'm sorry. All right, let's go down to 7 o'clock. Is 7 o'clock after 6 o'clock? 6, 7. Yes, it is. Is 7 o'clock before 9 o'clock? 7, 8, 9. It is. So we have 2 clocks we have to fill in. I wonder if there can be 3. All right, here we go. 5 o'clock. Is 5 o'clock after 6? No, 5 comes before 6. Get out of here, 5 o'clock. All right, we're all done with our math lesson for today. You guys have homework on the next page, actually. I don't know if you know that. Whew, it's going to be tricky, but I think you can do it. I saw a lot of people doing it today the right way and working on it and asking for help. I love that. Fallon, Sabrina, you guys were all working with me on Zoom today, so stop in if you haven't stopped in yet. Front and back, very tricky. I'm also going to attach a reteach page if you want a little bit more practice. There's only 3 questions, but it's always a little bit more teaching if you didn't learn it from me. All right, goodbye for now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.